Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Rovi, and MScribe, and today we're going to be talking about bitmaps or ordinals.
You don't even know what we're
DMT?
talking about, dude. That's exactly what I mean. You don't even know what's on the agenda, dude.
It's block drops, dude.
It's block drops, dude.
This is easy, dude.
I know. It's been a busy 48 hours, right? So busy
Yeah.
that it's like hard to keep even like.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
doing all kinds of things, I-Man.
I understand. But the reason why it's been so busy is because, if you don't know, on Tuesday, which was a couple days ago, the first block drop ever, right, occurred.
That's right. It was on Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. So the activation of block drops happened last week. So yeah, everybody, thumbs up to Benny, our Lord,
like
and the
claps,
track team. Claps.
not the sad song. There you go.
Oh,
When
yeah.
you asked me.
We need to change that to like snaps, dude. We're sophisticated over here, dude. We snap whenever we're happy and joyous.
Right.
But yeah, block drops are officially out of the theoretical stage, dude. They're like in pure application status now. They're working. It's happening.
Yeah, it was definitely theory back in November 2023.
All the way up until
All the way up till Tuesday.
I know, dude. I feel like that's dude. Give us another one, TJ. I feel like
A round of applause.
thanks, dude.
We were taking theory into practice.
Yeah, I feel like this is a big deal because a lot of realizations have happened over the last 48 hours. It's like, for one, block drops for sure are going to be like a heavily utilized tool.
Yes,
because it makes too much sense, and we're gonna kind of like break down why. Specifically for supporting like the creator ecosystem. Like keep in mind a lot of these things that we're developing and building infrastructure wise, it's under the perspective of like how are we going to construct a metaverse.
Yeah.
Right. And so we understand how
the most difficult endeavor by humanity ever.
not only most difficult, probably going to be the most expensive, one of the most costly things to do, right? So because in order to build, things need to be sustainable, right? We need the right mechanisms, the right monetization pathways, all this stuff, right? So that we align developers to contribute to this large scale effort, right? So this is the beginnings of that. And yeah, Evie, the first deployer of UNAT, was the first to kind of demonstrate how is this going to be leveraged, right?
Right.
So how did it go, dude?
All right, so first ever block drop are being claimed by DMT Natcat owners. All right, so here in this video, we show you how to claim it. It's pretty easy. Find your Natcat on MScribe. There's going to be a block drop tab. Click on that, and then you'll see the BOAs.
So that same applies to any UNAT, right? Like say somebody block drops to a NatFrog.
Same process.
So just go through your UNAT inventory. They're all there. NatFrog. Assuming since you own it, most likely that block drop hasn't been claimed.
Yeah,
right?
and be sure to listen to our latest Twitter space that was hosted by M. Boyley.
Yeah.
And Chris from Ord City. He was there talking about NatFrogs and block drops incoming.
And the kicks, what do they call the Pepe Flyers?
Pepe Flyers, yeah.
Yeah, we did have a pretty cool conversation. Like,
dude, wearables are coming, dude.
Mass producible wearables in the Matrix and such. This is going to be like a killer showcase, I think, where we have all the right UGC tools to produce these things, and then like we were just saying, the right mechanisms are in place to distribute them, in an orderly fashion.
Not only that, these Pepe Flyers are real world assets.
Yeah.
So that vector of DMT has been covered.
100%. Yeah. It's super cool. So yeah, like you were saying, super easy to claim these things. I mean, I was blown away by the ease of use.
Yeah.
Because I've done it the traditional way, right? The parent-child way.
Yeah, the hard way.
Yeah, and people are initially, it's shocking the idea of like having to send your parent asset out somewhere.
It is shocking. It's scary.
Yeah, so kind of explain that, right? So for people, most people, this is your first exposure to like a parent-child mint. Right?
Yeah, so parent-child structure is just recently-ish supported by the ORD protocol. And it was part of the Jubilee update. And so the way that you do it is, in order to create a child of a parent, you need to send the parent as part of the transaction to generate the child as the first output of a transaction, and then the child is the second output.
Okay.
So once you package up the output in that format, then you've produced a child. And so what does that mean? That means that the only way you can produce a child is if you have the parent in your wallet, and no one else on the planet could ever do that.
Exactly. Yeah, so that whole process is what the indexers of trackers looking out for, right? As far as understanding which of these are valid and which of these are not, right? As long as it has that on-chain provenance link to that parent asset.
Yeah, you what you said was actually pretty important, because it's like, well, if it's a child of my parent, how could it be invalid? That's
right.
We have priv authority.
Right.
So you can, with priv authority, you have to be able to generate a proper signature so that it can be valid. Right. And so that is just to fund creators and create an actual ecosystem of creativity and output.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
We have very strong opinions on that.
Yeah.
But so, okay, it's working. Boas are out, dude. Sickest snakes in the metaverse so far.
Yeah.
I like to call them snakes for whatever reason. I just love calling snakes snakes.
But boas are more alpha, dude.
Boas are pretty cool, right? People were asking in that Twitter space, like, what are we going to do? So I already have, like, pet concepts in mind.
Sure, yeah.
Why not apply them as potential wearables? I don't know. Like, that's the kind of the point of this, right? And the point of Blockdrops. And it's not just EV who has to, like, propagate new iterations of, like, within that chain of provenance, right? The community has equal access to deploy these Blockdrops to a Natcat or to a BOA, or whatever, right? So it's gonna be kooky in the future what people decide to do, and we already know there's other community creators with Blockdrops in mind for Natcats. Yeah, so it's gonna be sick.
Yeah,
you know. All right, so what do we achieve, dude? This is a good little tweet.
Yeah, so Jimmy Doge Builder here says, Blockdrops is what will make DMT assets skyrocket. That's the new distribution system allowing DMT asset owners to claim and mint new collections. For example, Natcat owners just got some BOAs. Holders have a lifetime access to mint, which could be free or paid, depending on whether you're using PrivAuth or not. And why Blockdrops are better than standard airdrops? Airdrops are too expensive in fees for founders, especially on Bitcoin.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Airdrops on Bitcoin, it's not going to happen. Not very often, at least.
Unless you have the community influence of a Leonidas, right? And you're able to, like, aggregate hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding and such like that.
Yeah, I think the dog airdrop was 300,000.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously not a replicable event, like as far as like a systemic ability, right?
Yeah. Blockdrops are assigned to an asset, not a wallet, so easy distribution. Airdrops lead people to massive sellings. With Blockdrops, the friction generated by the minting process reduces the number of cheaters.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with that term, it's basically like paper hands.
Yeah.
Right? People just want to like insta-dump and such.
The new collection can rise steadily without everyone selling for free money. Having some OG DMT assets may be highly rewardful in the future.
Great words.
Yeah. So the other thing is that Blockdrops are persistent forever.
Correct.
Right. So if new Natcats are produced 100 years from now, those new Natcats will also have this block drop.
100%. And that means that whatever value is being generated through this block dropping mechanism to like a parent collection or whatever, that value is like part of the value now, like literally.
That's right.
So it's like a whole new market dynamic that we're literally unlocking for the first time, and we're seeing it, right? Because now there's like, we've introduced a new rift, right? Some people don't agree, right? It's like, hey, there's I have a Natcat, I have the opportunity to mint this thing or not. Now there's a price to it. It's like, should I or should I not? And like, so what are the implications of that if I decide yes or no, right? The people who decide yes, they're establishing the value of this new market, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The people who say no, they're simply not participating in that, but they still harbor the value of that indefinitely. Right. So if they decide to sell their Natcat into the future, which most people probably do in these markets, right? They flip things and such.
Yeah.
That associated block drop value is now like part of the equation.
It is.
So from our perspective, it's like, damn, dude. It's like we need to more properly, I guess, convey that reality, right?
Yeah. So if you listen to our Twitter space, we discuss the amount of effort required to support something actually new in the crypto ecosystem.
Yeah, that's the challenge of like our lives, is we don't have much things to reference.
Yeah.
You know, if we were just simply putting out like another, I don't know, like a
meme token?
whatever. Just no, dude. I mean, like a standard that's similar to all the other standards, right? Meaning like it's like doing NFTs but on Bitcoin, or doing fungible tokens but on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You have plenty of reference of like how to actually do this.
Yeah,
stuff.
Good point. Yeah.
But like this is all new, so we have to literally perpetually innovate in all facets, which is
perpetual innovation.
I know, man.
What a terrible idea, dude.
I know. I warned you of this.
You did.
I said it's gonna be pretty hard.
I thought we would just put out the Git book, put out a couple of tokens, and then
a couple tweets, and it's like
we're off and to the sunset, right?
Mission completed, dude. Yeah, this is turning into quite the beast, is what we're realizing.
Yeah,
but for good reason though.
All right, Chris is cheap. He comes in. He says, "I see a few people upset that there was a cost to inscribe the bow as block drop. People inaccurately thought that the block drop was an airdrop.
Yeah.
I'm certain the Natcats will receive free claim block drops in the future. The fee to inscribe boas is about $76 at the moment."
Mm-hmm.
And it says, to start with, EV is one of, if not the best founder in the space. He didn't get paid for Natcats as it was a free mint. He requires funds to continue build the Natcats and the DMT ecosystem, which will benefit all holders in the future. Having to pay to inscribe bows will make them more valuable. Look at other top ordinal collections. Almost all were way more expensive to inscribe, like nodes, ninjas, OMBs.
Yep.
So I believe people simply thought that block drops always meant airdrops to holders, and that EV is trying to make a quick buck. Whenever EV makes, whatever EV makes will be reinvested into the ecosystem. That's for sure. And then, so this is what the boas look like.
Yeah, it's just like similar to Natcats in the sense that they're obviously.
Yeah, I saw one that was flipped, like the head was down here.
I saw one too. Yeah, there's different traits, right? Like, so the tail can be decked out.
There's
with
a hat. And
yeah, there are different mouth accessories.
Yeah.
Cigarettes.
Right.
Alien cigarettes, I think.
Yeah.
Blood drips. So yeah, I love it. It literally is the IP of what EV is creating. I think expanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which that's the word we love in this DMT ecosystem. Expansion isn't a bad thing from our perspective.
No.
Expansion represents growth and sustainment.
The
right?
universe is expanding, by the way.
In the old, yeah, right. I think it's a good thing. But in the old NFT like world of things, it's like
scarcity.
Locking things down.
Keep everyone out.
Keep everything the same.
Yeah.
It's like this process of evolution is like discredited, and it's a problem, right? And we're not going to encourage that in this new attempt at creating something interesting in crypto, right?
Yeah, so Nicola comes out with a tweet. He says, what we really need, I-Man, is free mints.
Yeah.
Quality art, real free and fair distribution from an OG team. And then he says, only OGs and ordinal collabs.
Exactly. This is okay. So here comes an artist chiming in, right?
Yeah, it's like, well, let me translate what you just said. It's like no compensation, high effort, no allocation for creators, no newcomers, only established artists. Make sure it lands in our bags only.
Yeah.
So who's going to step forward and make us richer with nothing to gain for themselves?
Yeah. So I felt like this little tweet flow, like I think it just nailed it from our perspective.
Yeah.
There's this culture in like the ordinals and Bitcoin space. Maybe it's just across all of crypto. I don't know. And it's probably the result of meme mania, where like just these tickers that obviously don't take much as far as development or creative effort.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a cute idea somebody concocted, but like, is that,
Yeah, I mean, there's some benefits to memes. There's no execution risk. It's just like a social like movement, really.
Yeah. But the point is like, so that's largely what the market has been like consuming over the last year or so. So it's like they're applying these same expectations to like an actual builder environment or creator ecosystem.
Yeah, and we've seen the results of this at a macro scale with OpenSea and Blur.
Yeah. This next, it's an article actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded us of, because we were there during the early days of NFTs, and some of the most beautiful aspects of it was like, we're creators and artists for the first time having the opportunity, like indie artists, right? Being an artist is like one of the most difficult things on the planet to do.
Yeah.
Like to break through and actually have some sort of like market appreciation for the things that you're producing, right? So OpenSea did a great job initially supporting that with like a royalty mechanism from the secondary trade activity of these assets and stuff. Like that was perpetual sustainability for these creators, right?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they folded like James Harden. in the playoffs, dude. It's terrible.
Or Dak Prescott, right? He's my classic choker, dude. Yeah. They definitely choked, I think. They gave into the pressures of like the degen community.
Yeah.
And Blur specifically, who built like the platform that catered to that demographic, and less so for the creator. Right. So therefore they nuked like market share away from OpenSea, and instead of standing firm for the creators, they're like, all right, I guess we're gonna go the Blur route, right?
Yeah, we're gonna remove all the royalties from creators because they apparently don't matter.
Yeah. So what happened after that? Basically, the entire like system like toppled over.
The collapse of creativity, no more creative outputs.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of NFTs.
I think so. We were there in real time while all this was folding out. I was like, man, that's not a good idea, OpenSea.
OpenSea should have took a stand. It's like Blur can have their fun and pump this like vapor token that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But we're here and we're going to be supporting creators.
Yeah, there were a lot of game developers and such like depending on that. I remember those days. It's like, they were building full on like business models to develop their games.
Didn't Yuga Labs like take their assets off of OpenSea as a result?
Yeah.
So
I mean, so this is what we mean by flipping the culture in a sense, because again, the lens of everything we're developing is for metaverse creation, right? And we understand the amount of effort that goes into that, the quality of like the goods that are produced as a result of that effort. And for people to be like, only things that are like justifiable in this market have to be free, that is a failed line of thinking. It's flawed. Yeah, absolutely flawed. And if we're building a culture around that, you cannot have an expectation of any real value being produced as a result of that.
Agreed.
It's only meme value. It's only like speculative vapor value.
Yeah, casinos.
Yeah, and so that's fine. Like you're saying, there's a meme sector for that, right?
Yeah.
But we're in
like
metaverse build sector.
Yeah, move the ball forward, not just like casinos.
Yeah, but it's fine. So both can exist, but yeah, I don't think there should be this much like vitriol and attack for creators and developers looking to find sustainable routes. Right?
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
But why do you hate Bitmap so much?
I do.
Why do we hate Bitmap so much, dude?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, DMT was meant to destroy Bitmap.
For sure, that was by design, right?
Clear.
Yeah,
that's been the hidden agenda all along. Mm-hmm. We're on this like secret mission to like just
topple all of Bitmap.
Yeah,
that's right. But then Satoshi Troll, he's like, ooh, blockdrops, that's cool. Mm-hmm. It's like, let me block drop a token called block to all of Bitmaps.
Correct. So this is super cool. And we didn't see. Well, I guess we should have saw this coming because I think a week or so ago, we were like explaining block drops, right? And we're like, look, well, when we deployed the digital matter theory Git book, there was a NAT token. Mm-hmm. Was the first DMT asset ever produced. It was the demonstration of how you actually interact with this protocol, right?
Yeah.
That happened about a year ago.
Right.
But with that publication came the block drop methodology of how do you distribute to like leveraging on-chain provenance, theoretical at the time. Mm-hmm. But there was a token called BMT, right?
Bitmap token, yeah.
Yeah, so basically same thing. What block is, but way crappier ticker.
Yeah,
we definitely didn't put enough thought into that.
Yeah, and so BMT at the time was right before parent-child was actually supported by the ORD protocol.
Correct.
And so he said, don't inscribe this, but this is how it would be done once it's enabled.
Yeah, and now it's been enabled, but now it's recognized through TAP.
Yeah,
as of like last week. And then we said, we're not going to do BMT.
Well, what happened was even us, I mean, we were ignored by the TAP system. Like it's true. Like all previous block drops ignored just because it's too complex and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Right. And so now our previous BMT deployment, like literally doesn't really exist. Right. So
correct.
So it's like because we had an activation block height for block drops, then we came before that block height. So that was just nothing.
Correct. So we planted another seed. It's like somebody in the community now. This is an opportunity, right, to basically establish this connection between the DMT and the bitmap through this block drop, and now like a new discoverable token that everybody owns a bitmap now has claim to ownership of.
Yeah.
Right. This is a whole new thing. So let's go through what the block token actually is. Start from the top of the tweet.
So it says, first block drop token. The token was deployed as a free block drop for all current and future bitmaps. This is a fungible token pegged to the bits field, just like DMT NAT. Here's the deploy. Here's how you mint, an example. And then here's the actual text. So then you can use any platform that supports parent-child inscriptions. And most importantly, you can also inscribe this on mscribe. And pretty soon, either today or tomorrow, all block drops that have been deployed post block height are going to be visible on mscribe.
So what's that flow look like? It's similar to like claiming a block drop for like a UNAT? Or?
Yeah. So the only difference is that you go to mscribe and you see a bitmap. So you just find your own bitmap, right?
Like in the search.
In the search, yeah. Look for your block height.
Yeah.
And then once you find your bitmap, there's a new tab there called Blockdrops, and then you'll see everything that's been block dropped to bitmap.
So if you're connected and you own the bitmap you just searched for, you go to the block drop tab, you are going to have exclusive rights to claim that.
Correct.
And it's just like you claimed the BOA, right? It's just a 2-step transaction process. Couple clicks away, and you got yourself this non-arbitrary token, which...
That's correct. And so if you're looking to purchase a bitmap on one of the supported marketplaces, and you want to make sure that it has a block drop, we'll just go to mscribe, find that bitmap, see if it's been claimed or not.
Yeah, that's important. So we're going to put out some guides and stuff, revamp some documentation and such, because if we understand this is all new stuff, so at first it seems daunting, but trust me, it's actually very simple. The mscribe developer team has done an excellent job of really simplifying this and platformatizing this whole parent-child minting process. So
yeah, so man, what is this token for? So Satoshi Troll, I think the deployer here, this is a cultural token.
I would say so. Yeah.
This is a historic milestone. These blocks build the bridge between DMT and Bitmap and will establish the end of a nuclear war.
I mean, it's been quite drastic, I would say. I don't
know if it's nuclear.
Yeah, but it's some sort of like, we call it like a mudslinging.
It's like
fest.
a slap fest.
Yeah, dude. A lot of poop being flinged around. That's about it.
With the activation of the block drop built by Track, we now live in a new era. The narrative is revolutionary and changes the way crypto works. Never ever seen in other blockchain non-arbitrary assets. Stake DMT, stake Bitmap, mining block drops. This is the alpha. Bull run is back.
Look at that image, dude.
There it is.
Doesn't that say everything?
We are friends now.
Dude, we're also jacked, dude.
And yeah.
Does that feel good, dude? We didn't have to like do any of the hard work, but we're just super jacked. Yeah. And here comes Block. Yeah, dude, this is it. This is the showcase to all these like bitmappers that like to FUD DMT for literally every day, all day.
Yeah.
What a sad existence that must be, but nonetheless, I mean,
feels good to live rent free though, right?
And whatever. I mean, we're jacked, right? So it's okay. But this token has the potential, like, as a unifying demonstration of like the whole protocol was built in to align with Bitmap from the very beginning.
Yep, I know.
This deployment process.
I don't know how many times we've said that, man.
But you know this, right? Talking doesn't matter.
No,
what matters is delivery of an actual execution.
That's true. That's why when we launched DMT, we had to launch a token.
Nobody cared about all this stuff we're talking about until the NAT token was a reality.
That's right.
Then it's like, oh shit, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So what do? I guess so. This is good for Bitmap, right? Because in order to get access to this new class of meme token, it's a block dropped meme token. It's never happened before.
Right.
You've got to own a Bitmap first of all.
Yeah, that's right.
So now Bitmaps have the same utility. Remember Leonidas airdropped these rocks?
Yeah.
These rune stones, that the utility of that is access to an airdrop, right?
Right.
The utility now of a Bitmap, you guys were wondering when Bitmap was going to have like an actual practical use case. Here it is. We've built it in at the protocol layer.
Yeah, just you wait until we enable account abstraction with these like fungible tokens in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Now anybody can accept Block as a token for wearables, for access to games, access to whatever activity that's happening in the metaverse.
Yeah, man.
And everyone that holds a Bitmap has access to millions of value in terms of like units.
Yeah.
For this Block token. And now Block could be the token of the metaverse.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think that was the original thesis of BMT, because back in those days, is it the BMP token? Is it what Jeff has been working on with Bitmap tokens?
Yeah.
And we're like, maybe it's the BMT token, but yeah, the mechanism to distribute didn't exist. Now it does.
Yeah.
So this might be it, guys. Let the market invisible hand figure it out. Is this the way we've discovered the Bitmap fungible token?
It's obvious, dude.
To us it is, but let's let the market decide. So yeah, the tools will be available in a day or two to like easily claim this block drop.
Yeah, and that's it for us. All right, if you have any questions on how block drops work, definitely let us know in the comment section below. Appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.